Good evening. My name is Mallory Redding, and this is my video discussion for Module 6. And I chose to do this video discussion on topic 4. The question says, in order to comply with the requirements of the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, an educational organization must provide copyright training to its membership on a regular basis. What do you think will be the most effective means of providing that training so that the participants get it and follow the organization's copyright policy? As with any effective training, it is critical to engage your audience immediately. The trainer could play a series of video examples where the audience is trying to decide whether or not copyright laws have been violated. Adding a creative piece during the hook could mean having staff members act out scenarios themselves in the video. The trainer could also have a video with cartoons acting out the scenarios. Either way, having a visual with a hot question attached to get the audience engaged and thinking is a great way to introduce the topic of that training. Personally, I think discussing copyright laws and infringement is boring, and it can be difficult to comprehend when just reading about it or listening to someone speak on it. A great way to get the audience to comprehend the organization's copyright policy is to have a variety of hands-on activities with breaks, with what we call in the classroom checks for understanding. Chunking information is a great way for students to comprehend large concepts. The trainer could have a 15 to 20-minute activity where the audience is split into groups working on puzzles, quizzes, brain teasers, games, creating songs, or even drawings that reflect a part of the copyright policy for that organization. Yes, the trainer is going to have to be super duper creative to get this type of information learned by the audience, definitely. But once that 15-20 minutes is up, that group will have a quick quiz, whether it's a poll online, Kahoot game, Plickers quiz, or a simple whiteboard race to the correct answer. Once that concept or part of the copyright policy is understood, the next chunk of time will be allotted for learning and understanding the copyright policies. This cycle should continue for no more than an hour and a half with checks for understanding breaks and a short brain break, which is an off-task activity that keeps the mind off of the focused concept for a short amount of time, but still actively engaged. Those are super duper important for long trainings because you can really lose your audience about half an hour in because it can be an overwhelming influx of information. So you want to give people a brain break, whether it's a stand up and stretch, go to the bathroom, get water. That's super duper important when you're having trainings. Okay, the trainer would need to be very, very knowledgeable of the copyright policies of the organization and able to answer questions accurately. To conclude an effective training where the participants understand and follow the organization's policies with fidelity. A review of the scenarios from the beginning of the training would prove their gained knowledge from the training. The participants could do an exit ticket or a short quiz with questions on it to turn in. However, I think one of the most powerful and sticky ways the trainer could ensure the audience understands what was taught from the training is by creating realistic and relatable situations based on that organization. Situations that are likely to happen to the audience on a day-to-day basis. For example, if this training was done in a school for teachers, creating a scenario where a teacher is copying pages from a workbook will be a realistic and relatable situation to address and determine the most appropriate solution or way to address that scenario if it were to arise. This review would keep the audience mindful and accountable for their daily actions when it relates to their organization's copyright policy.